All right, everybody, we're gonna get going with our next speaker. We had a lot of energy with our last one. He was awesome. This is Nicole. I know a lot of you have seen her before. I'd love for you guys to put a one in the chat if Nicole is new to you. If this is your first time meeting her, because I know she's been here on the academy with us a bunch, which is awesome. She is the Marine Corps and Air Force veteran, and she is now the owner of the Wreaths by Nicole. So that's what she's here to talk to you guys today about. It's good seeing you again, Nicole. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Still reeling from that big order, but I did it. I did it.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time we talked, you had what was it, a 50 wreath order?
30. Yeah. Doug got 30 wreaths from me. I finished it in like a
Um,
week. I was like, oh my God. It was crazy.
Amazing. Well, for
Yeah.
all the people that just put ones in the chat, which it is a lot of
That's a
people,
lot. Yeah.
tell us who you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nicole Zettlemoyer. The Wreaths by Nicole P that you see is because my husband proposed to me a month after I made the business name. So, my name is Nicole Zettlemoyer. My maiden name is Pompei. I like Kylie said, I am a Marine Corps and Air Force veteran. I did 4 and 4, and yeah, bro's timing for real. I know. And I was active duty when I started my business, and now I am a veteran of about 3 years and change. And now I just run my business, and I have 2 kids. So they go to part-time daycare, lets me work for a bit. And yeah, so uh, I don't know how we want to start, or like if anybody has
Yeah,
questions about running a business, or if they just want to hear the backstory or what the deal is. But
absolutely. I'd love for you to tell everybody about the business and kind of what inspired you to start it while you're active duty, which is kind of crazy. So I'd love to hear about that. I've never heard that story actually.
oh, yeah, actually 3 days ago was my 5-year viral versary, as I like to call it. So I can't believe it's been 5 years. It's bonkers. So about in July of 2020, I was still active duty, Air Force. ABUs were moving over to OCPs, and so I wanted to make a wreath out of my uniforms for funsies. Went home on leave. My mom and I figured out how to make one, and posted it on Facebook. And some friends were like, "Hey, you should sell those." And I was like, okay. So I would do onesies, twosies under the table. And then in December of 2020, a civilian friend who I had worked with temporarily in San Antonio. Yeah, I have my own website too. So Etsy, hate Etsy, but I have an Etsy, but they steal your money. But I'll put, yes, thank you, Cody. Yes, for real. I will put all my deets in the chat soon. But yeah, a friend that I had worked with had now been working at Ken's 5 in San Antonio. Thank you, Richard. And that's where I'm at right now until April. And I PCS to Travis because my husband's still active duty. So we're moving to Travis. And she was like, hey, we want to feature you on our local news station. You made these wreaths from like 1947. This is really cool, blah, blah, blah. We do the interview, and oh, I need a chat bot on my site. I have like a little chat box. I just don't have a, yeah, I don't know what the bot means. I'm sorry. Actually, maybe you guys can educate me on that. But uh and then kind of just blew up from there. They sent it to 20 local news affiliates. Then People Magazine reached out, Fox News, CBS in the Morning, Late Night with David Muir. And I had 2,000 people on my wait list overnight with no website and no EIN to my name. So I had to really learn how to build a business from the bottom up kind of overnight. Um, and 5 years later, and obviously I have a website and an EIN by now, and got through that wait list by May of 23. I kind of joke, I say thank God for COVID because I wouldn't have been able to do active duty and that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and so since then I've probably made about rough estimate 3,700 wreaths and shipped to all 50 states. And now I offer 6 sizes as well as ornaments. And yeah, and so
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
I'd love to hear more about so we have a lot of entrepreneurs or wanting to be entrepreneurs in the chat. What was that first step when you realized you were gonna have to build a business out of nowhere? Like what was your first goal after that?
um Well, the first goal was to get a working website. So all I had was a Facebook page, and Facebook pages work, but in terms of e-commerce, it's really important that you have a website. I personally use Wix because I hadn't heard of Shopify. My friend had made me a website at first, but then after like a year or two and me wanting to be like in control of the website instead of asking him
Mhm.
every time I needed to change something, Wix was very user friendly. But honestly, I would recommend if you haven't built a website yet to use Shopify only because it's got some really cool features in it where you can like integrate with other companies' websites. So like for example, I don't know if you guys have heard of our Riveter bags. Rosie it's like for Rosie Riveter. They were on Shark Tank like 8 years ago or something and they use people's uniforms to make these really nice bags. They have Shopify and at first when we kind of hooked up and wanted to work together, they were like, if you have Shopify, we can just put your items on our website and then you can still get the like sales and stuff. So there's a really cool way you can integrate with other people's websites. So that's the only reason I say use Shopify. I haven't personally used it, but I was kind of ticked that I couldn't do that on their website because I think that's a really
Yeah.
cool way to share success with other small business owners. But
So we
I think the
should we be expecting a collab here soon with
we're trying, but
Okay.
they're like they had to move warehouses in Florida because I think something got knocked out by some hurricane or something. So I consign I sell stuff in their physical store. So there's Wreaths that
Okay.
they'll get a cut and I get most of the cut. But um yeah, for
Amazing.
now I wish that's my goal for
Yeah.
2020 for collab.
2026 is planned.
Yes, yes.
Cody, do you have a question?
I do actually. So I will start off by saying I posted early, but I did use Wix as well, and they are super user friendly. When I did our site, we did the affiliate site, but super awesome. I do have a question though. So like, how and maybe a follow-on question depending on your answer. So how long before you separated or retired or whatever did you start your business? Were you like still everything was good? You were still receiving paycheck, everything was all right, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was December of 2020. And so it was like about literally halfway through my enlistment in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was just kind of wondering like at what point, because like I was kind of in the same boat and I was trying to do it, but like I was really worried. Like I have kids too and a wife and stuff, so a family to support. So I was trying to figure out like it's really hard to do that transition and try to kind of the unknown and be like, okay, well, I really have what I think is a great idea, and the reason that's a phenomenal idea. That's amazing, and it's awesome that it worked out for you. But I was kind of wondering too, like it's really scary to start your own business, especially when you have a family to support, and not a lot of people, especially these days, can do 3, 4, 5 months without a paycheck. So. Yeah, so I was just kind of wondering what your thought process was when you went through it and whether or not at what point you knew you might be successful and you could do it.
Yeah. So actually, that's a good question only because like when people are always like, what's your advice about running a small business? I like this. I'm gonna say two parts to this answer, and I'm gonna say the advice in a second. The first part is I got really lucky because I got viral Um, and you can get viral and still not get orders, but the fact that I had all these people rushing to me and being like, "I need this," was kind of like my sign of like, "Okay," which leads to my advice, which is you need to make sure that the market wants your item. So, I learned this through oh no, Warrior Rising. They have a like self-guided own your small business thing that I did after I opened my own business, but I was just looking for advice. It's free for veterans. It's really awesome. It's really helpful, especially if you're kind of just starting and it'll kind
Mhm.
of give you little nuggets. I wish I did it earlier because I wasn't able to take as much from it. But if you're starting your own business, that one and oh no, there's one. Is it like? Oh, I'll think of it. There's another one that's really good too. That's for veterans. But
You said Warrior Rising though? Is that there's like
yeah,
a they have a website and stuff that you can go to?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you, yeah, yeah.
I'm looking it
Let's
up
see.
right now to drop it in the
Oh,
chat. So yeah, I
outstanding.
got you.
Yeah, yeah. Once you Google it, it's like the first thing. There's like a few like things, but there's like a self-guided course that's really helpful. And I'll think of when I think of the other one, I'll get there too. But yeah. So like the thing that they kind of say, and no offense to anybody that makes tumblers, I just always use the tumblers example. When you go to a farmer's market, I'll use a personal example. I sold my wreaths at this Christmas market here in Castroville. There was over 250 vendors. It was a huge event. And I walked around the market for a little bit. And I'm not kidding you when I say I probably like 30 tents. I'm not being dramatic. 30 tents sold custom tumblers. Like the like coffee cups, where
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
kind of dazzle them and stuff. 30. What are the chances that somebody's going to want to buy your tumblers versus anyone else? Versus, yes, exactly, Steve. When people would walk by my tent, I had all the wreaths all around and stuff. And this is literally what they would do. Sorry, I'm in sweats. Don't judge me. They would go, that is the most unique thing I've ever seen, right? Oh, not because it's a wreath made out of a real military uniform, because it's not one of the 30 tents that's selling tumblers, you know? So I think that's really important that because there's a lot of people that craft things. There's a lot of people that craft things out of military uniforms. But like I think or coffee. Yeah, coffee is a big one too, right? And that's cool. Thank you. I'm from New Jersey. If it's really important that your product, it doesn't even have to be something new. It has to be unique, and what can it add to the market? There's plenty of wreaths out there. There's plenty of things made out of military uniforms. But there's nothing really like this, right? Except for the one lady that copied my business. So if you see it on Etsy, ignore her. But yeah, several veteran owned. It's definitely cool to prop the veteran owned thing. Yeah, definitely. That actually leads me to my second piece of advice that I always like to tell people is your product, especially if you're selling a physical product. I mean, a service, yeah, but if you're selling a physical product, people almost buy the story more than they buy the product. So, um, when people saw my story and they hear that I'm a veteran of the Air Force and I'm a veteran of the Marine Corps and I did all these things and I'm a mom now and my husband's still active duty, so I serve as a spouse now and all these things. Let's get her. Thanks, Lauren. Um, you'll find her, but yeah, people really resonate with the story and they resonate with authenticity. So if you look back in 2020 and you see these interviews of me on all these newscasts, national news stations and stuff, you're literally seeing the same person that's talking to you right now. I'm not trying to like fluff anything up. I'm not trying to change who I am. I'm not trying to be a certain somebody for TV, for the product, for a veteran, right? People just, if they can sense your authenticity, they're more likely to buy stuff from you just because they almost want to like help you out and support your story and support your product. So I always think that's a really big thing to point out. Did that answer your question? I'm sorry, I went on a little tangent, but I hope
No
that
worries.
helps.
Yeah, it absolutely did. I
Yeah.
just have one quick question. Were
Huh.
you Air Force first or Marines first?
Marines first. Think smart, not hard. So yeah,
Bo-
moved over. I got out and I moved to San Antonio and I worked as a civilian for 10 months and then I joined the Air Force because I hated my civilian job and broke up with my
Yeah.
boyfriend at the time. So yeah, it wasn't purposeful by any means just to go from one to the other. It just kind of landed on my lap. But grateful it did. So
Yeah, no, that was really good advice. Even being authentic anywhere, not even just starting a business, but if these guys are going into a job opportunity, that advice can stand for, I think, any opportunity that anybody in here is going into. Oh, so nice, Tanya.
all right. Yeah, I should have shown here's a small one. But yeah, this is what they look like. You could send your own uniforms or use fatigues I have in stock. That's another thing, making things accessible. So there were so many people. I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful that during these like news interviews, like at the ends of them, they would be like, if you don't want a wreath, but you want to donate your uniform somewhere, send them to Nicole. So do I ship overseas? I could try if it's an APO, it's really easy. But yeah, so I was really lucky in the sense that like that's another thing. If you see an opportunity, you have to take it, right? So like all these people were sending all these uniforms, and I lived in this very small house, and I was just like, screw it, send everything you have. And because of that, now I'm able, if people don't have their uniforms, they can still purchase one with fatigues. So making it accessible, also accessibility in terms of price. Like those things would be yes, no, women between the ages of 40 and 60 are like my favorite demographic. It just is. I try
My mom
making it
would be
real simplistic.
obsessed. My mom would love
Yeah. They
it.
don't like my TikTok trends, and I'm really offended because I'm really working hard on content right now. But yeah, making things like price accessible. So my product, as I mean, higher end cost because I'm literally doing everything by hand, right? Got any dungarees? No, everybody always asks. I don't. I get once I get them, they're out of my hands. Sorry. Navy, so confusing. I always get asked dungarees. Don't have any. So sorry. I've got type ones and I've got threes. But so I originally when I started, I had 4 sizes. I had two sizes. I had a medium and I had a large. I had a 13-inch and I had a 15-inch. And but I feel like that kind of pigeonholed me because then I was like, okay, then there's only 2 sizes, which means only 2 prices. And like, like right now, I mean, actually, I really haven't changed my prices. 90 and 105. Those are my medium and my large sizes, right? But if you don't have $100 to spend on a wreath, then you can't get a wreath, right? And so I'm like, okay, how do I push the threshold, right? If people want to spend more money on somebody, how can I? And less money. So now I have 2 larger sizes, I have 2 smaller sizes, and I also have started making ornaments. So now my products range between $23 and $140. And that way people can kind of spend as little or as much as they want to. So I feel like that's really important to not pigeonhole yourself into some specific price range. Then everybody can kind of access. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Farewells. Yeah. I do farewells, retirements. How did I price for a wreath? I priced by parts, and I also priced by labor. So with mine specifically, it's a lot more labor and a lot less stuff, right? I don't have to buy as much stuff. I have to buy wreaths and pins and hot glue and boxes. You know what I mean? Like very, very minimal. I think it maybe cost-wise costs me $15 it maybe to right for a wreath. But by the time I cut up the uniforms, square the uniforms, wrap the wreaths, prepare the wreaths, actually make the wreaths, right? Take the pictures, pack up the box, ship it out, right? That can take me anywhere between like 2 and 3 hours. So, that was kind of how I priced for them is I had my OG price for my large one, and then I just kind of, tacked a little on and off of the price in terms of labor. And so for you, that's up to you really how much you want to like allow yourself per hour. I was lucky enough because I had a 2,000 person wait list to be like, okay, my time is really valuable. You have to pay for this item that I think is worth this much because my time is worth this much. So starting out, maybe you have to go a little lower and just kind of like sacrifice your time. Not too much. Don't sell yourself short, which my husband is always telling me not to do. He's always like, stop telling people about deals or free shipping. Like, stop selling yourself short. Don't feel guilty. If that's the price you think it needs to be and people are buying them, then clearly it's okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Janelle, you can go ahead and ask your question.
That was my question. How do you
Oh yeah, I
price
saw
your
that on the
labor
comments.
per hour? And
Oh, okay. I didn't know
do
if you
you
had another one.
do you use a particular website or what is it called? Program to price your wreath?
No, it's honestly they've just been the same price since 2020. So, that's something I've been trying to be quite honest about. Even, I mean, my supplies have gone up like marginally, but thankfully, again, I don't have to buy a lot of supplies. So it's really not about supplies for me. It's about labor. So nothing really has changed in that sense besides my wreath frames maybe being like $1 or 2 more than they used to be.
Yeah. What metric did you use to kind of figure out what that is? You're like, okay, this takes me 3 hours. How did you attach a price to that time?
Um, a while back, my husband, I forget where he was listening to it. He's my like YouTube information guru. And he was saying something like your time is not worth more than $50 an hour. And especially for a specific skill set. And so actually coming from the world of I'm a musician, so I was in the band in the Marine Corps and in the Air Force. I did lots of other things too, but I was a musician. My husband is also a musician, so that's what he does in the Air Force. He's an MTI right now. He's a drill instructor right now, but he'll go back to being in the band soon. And when we were kind of thinking about the price of labor, we were kind of thinking about the price of like how much an instrument lesson costs. So growing up, or honestly, if you find somebody in an orchestra and you want to take lessons with a professional musician, I play the bassoon. If you want to take lessons with a professional bassoon player, like the cheap end of that, yes, Band of the Golden West, that's where we're going. And we would, the cheap end would be $60 an hour for a bassoon lesson, right? And so we kind of just took that in mind where I'm like, okay, I have this skill set. It is a special skill set that requires a lot of setup. So it's not like you can really go and you could go buy all the things and make the thing. I'm not going to teach you how to do it. You can buy my ornament kits, but not the wreaths. But you can try to figure it out by yourself, but how much time and energy are you going to put into it? So that's kind of the idea of like my time for this specific skill set in my mind is $50 an hour. So that's just my personal thing based off of like past experiences of other people charging things hourly.
Yeah, no, that's completely valid. Your time is a value, probably one of the most valuable things. So it's absolutely understandable. I just have one last question, and that is I would love to ask about what the future of Wreaths by Nicole P looks like. Do you have any plans or goals for 2026?
Yeah. So I'm always looking to collab with other business owners. So my goal for 2025 was to kind of establish more connections like that. Oh, I also need to hype up Spousely and the cohort that Spousely does, Points for Patriots. Those are two things, especially if you are a spouse also of a service member, you can do this. Spousely is like Etsy for spouses of military service members and law enforcement. So I always hype up Spousely, and then there's always a cohort. There's a cohort that goes with it, and you can if you join the cohort, it's $500 that you get for your business, and also it's like 4 meetups with specific speakers, and I've learned a lot from them. Some of the things I've learned from them: LinkedIn, amazing. Need a LinkedIn, make connections. I just started doing that in July. It has really helped me out in terms of making connections with small business owners. And so, yeah, my goal was to like kind of work with more small business owners. So like my Rosie the Riveter one or our Riveter one was one of my like cool starting that. Thank you. And yeah, so for 2026, actually, I'm getting a pedicure after this. And when I'm sitting there in my pedicure chair, treat yourself. I'm looking for a sewing machine because your girl's going to learn how to sew and expand the business. In January and February, I always try to learn a new skill. So last year it was learning how to take nice pictures of my things, and I bought a light box and I got a new light box for this year as well. But to make last year was about marketability. I wanted to make myself look more professional. If you look at old pictures, they're like on a carpet with my iPhone. It looks really bad. If you look at the nice pictures now, it's like a nice light box with no shadows, blah, blah, blah. So marketability, creating content, going on the TikTok trends, check out my Facebook and my Instagram. And soon you'll see lots of funny TikTok trends trying to breach into the youth. And because like I said, my demographic is a bunch of old ladies, which I love. But trying to branch out that way. I already lost my train of thought, but yeah, I guess that's 2026. Yeah. I'm hopefully gonna try to do some new military items, kind of low threat things like keychains, maybe like dog collars, things like that made out of military uniforms, trying to stick with that. But I want to learn how to sew.
Yeah, I love the goal of trying to come up with something new for the business every January. That's a really good way to make a January goal, but actually make it more actionable, then I'm gonna go to the gym or
Yeah, I already
something.
work out. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you just because you're not getting orders doesn't mean you can't help the business. So
Yeah.
January, February, March is usually my dead time, right? Just
Hmm.
post Christmas,
Yep.
Memorial Day kind of I get a hit, Veterans Day I'll get a hit. If summer with retirements and going and changing commands, you know what I mean? But like
Yep.
that's my dead time. So I just kind of make the most of it before we
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. Well, it looks like we have one more question. You can go ahead and ask your question. I would love to have you tell me how to pronounce your name because I am very unsure.
Izoif Esoife?
Oh, he put his
Sorry,
hand
Oh,
down.
that was a
Oh, there.
mistake. Uh,
oh.
uh, yeah, I didn't want to ask a question. That was a mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Oh, Jordy has his hand up. Go
Hi,
ahead, Jordy.
Jordy.
Hey, Nicole. I just wanted to say hi. I can't tell you guys how impressed I am with Nicole. She is one of my favorite mentors on our team because I love her grit. I love that she started this business. It looks like in your house, right?
This is the loft in the top of my
That's the
house. Yeah.
world headquarters right there. I love it. She's a scrapper and she's just doing such a cool thing. And did you guys, I came in a little late, but Kylie, did you mention that she was one of our top candidates at our Salute to Startups
I
event?
didn't. Yeah, the very first Salute to Startup, she made it
She
to the top
kicked
two.
ass.
Yeah.
Tell
I think I got third.
Thir- tell them though, Nicole, what happened? What better than third?
Oh yeah, I told them in the beginning. Yeah, I got a wreath or order for 30 wreaths from one of the investors.
The
And he
top
said,
investor. He's the
oh,
top
that
investor
yeah,
in the military community. He started or he
Black
funded
Rifle, right?
Black Rifle.
Yeah.
So great contact. And now, so he invests in other businesses, I guess 20 or 30 of them. And so he's
30,
sending
yeah.
Nicole's wreaths to each one of
Mm,
those CEOs. So what a
amazing.
cool connection to leverage. So that was
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of
hopefully
absolutely.
we
they
get
loved
something
her.
out of
Yeah.
it.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this, man. We appreciate you. Kylie,
Yeah.
thank you for emceeing.
Yeah, of course. I just wanted to mention, right, 1 minute before the next speaker comes,
Yeah, go. Take
Nicole,
your time.
we just had one of our mentors that came on yesterday, Dre Medici. He really helps businesses amplify their social presence, and that's one of your goals. So I really think you should connect with him.
Yes, yeah. Hit me up. Give me the
Okay, I'll text you
yeah,
his name.
absolutely.
Have a wonderful day, Nicole.
Thank you guys. I'll see you next month.
You
See
got
ya.
it. Take care. Thank you, Kylie. Our next